give him all the praise that he alone deserves tonight. Jesus, the gathering is unto you. The coming together of saints this evening is unto you. We thank you for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the salvation of our soul. We thank you for coming to save us. We are grateful tonight. We give you all the glory, Lord. To you alone be the glory. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Let's take our Bible, let us see it. As I welcome every one of you to day 2 of the WORDFEAST. As the name suggests, we take 5 days every quarter as seed of the entire Bible Church to gather saints together to feed on God's word. Extraordinary feeding so that we can be fat in the word of God. Because at the end of your life, if you are a child of God, the quality of the life that will be written about will be directly proportional to the quality of God's word that you have practiced. There is no one that will rise higher than the quality of the word of God he has access to and that is able to practice. The only way out for the world today is the word of God. That's the only solution. And like I always say, at times it looks like an insult, especially for those that have been able to be careless about their lives with the word of God. If you have a very great life today that you are so proud of, you are the one that created it. If you have a life that is not so exciting that you don't like, you are still the one, you are the creator of that life. There is no one that takes responsibility for your life. And it's good news. That means there is no time one cannot change. Your health is directly related to the quality of the word of God that you know and you put to work. Your finances is directly related to the quality of the word of God that you have seen and that you have put to practice. It may be that you are not there yet. Like I am not there yet. I am a work in progress. There are so many of us that walk in progress. But the truth is, have you begun? Because if you have not begun, one day you will need to begin. And if you will not begin, then you end that way. Glory be to God. Yesterday we started, the theme of the WORDFEAST is exploring the supernatural. And we did mention that the life that we live on earth is actually spiritual, it's supernatural, and there are 2 ways actually to the supernatural life. You know, it's either you take the way of the truth or you take the way of lies. Now, when you take the way of the truth, you go through the Father of truth or the truth himself. The Father of truth is God Almighty, and the truth himself is Jesus Christ. Or you take the way of lie, and both the father of lie and lie itself is the devil. So because Satan himself is somehow supernatural, but we, children of God, we are talking about taking the way of truth because the Bible says there is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof is death and destruction. Proverbs 14:25 and Proverbs 16:25. So we are taking the right path to the life of the supernatural. And we mentioned yesterday that the first step to it is to change nature. Is to change nature. Is to change citizenship. Is to change father. Is to change overlords. Is to change your culture. Every man that comes on earth comes with the spirit of darkness. When man sinned, the spirit of man carrying light of God became darkness. The Bible says in Proverbs 20:27, it says the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord that searcheth the inner hearts of men. So when man sinned in the Garden of Eden, the light in the spirit of man, that was the candle of God, was blown off. And man became darkness. The spirit of man became dark. Because man had acquired the nature of the devil. And the nature of the devil is sin and death. And because that nature had come to man, man received a ticket to fail in life. Man fell from the supernatural to the natural. Man fell from the spiritual realm into the physical, into his senses, into the physical life, the tangible life. Man was to rule over his senses, but the senses began to rule over man. Man began to be guided by what he sees, what he hears, what he tastes. If he tastes nice, it's nice. If he sounds nice, it's nice. But it's not everything that sounds nice that is nice. Right? If man has symptoms, he believes he's sick. But it doesn't matter whether you have symptoms or not, it doesn't guarantee your health. You see, we've seen situations whereby people go for comprehensive checkup and they don't come back. And the doctor has said that you are well. And in 1 week's time, they develop sickness and they die. But the doctor certified them well. It's not the doctor that certified the believer well, it's the word of God. The word of God has the final authority over man. The doctor may say his own, but what is the word of God saying? That's the supernatural. But it's quite a pity that even the church has fallen into the sense realm, into the natural realm. You know, we have closed the door of the supernatural. We have closed the door of faith. The supernatural life is only lived by faith. The just shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. The just shall live by his faith. Romans 1:17. The just, you the just, the righteous, you shall live by faith. Galatians 3:11. The just shall live by faith. Hebrews 10:38. We walk by faith, not by sight. We walk in the supernatural realm, not in the natural realm. 2 Corinthians 5:7. So when man are closed, especially in the church, I'm not talking about the world system. They don't know better. It's okay, let them go on with their world system, the Babylonian system, the trial and error system, you know, the stealing and killing system, let them go on. But in the church, we live by different set of rules. And we live by faith, or we ought to live by faith. We ought to live by believing God. Even though we can't see him. But once he has said something, you believe what he has said. And you act as though he has said the truth, because he has actually said the truth, because he's the truth. Right, so we also mentioned that the only way to change nature, Jesus told Nicodemus, that the only way you can change your nature, the only way you can change your kingdom, the kingdom of darkness you came through. Right. The only way you can change that is to be born by the Spirit of God and by the word of God. Whosoever is born of the Spirit is spirit, and whosoever is born of the flesh is flesh. Then we know that we are born again by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever. Right. Glory be to God. If you don't change nature, you can't succeed God's way. The nature of Satan is terrible. You must be born again. Stop shifting it. Stop negotiating it. It is not possible for your life to impact anybody except you change your nature. If you want to toe the line of the truth, change your nature, and that means you have to be born again. Born again is just a fashion that we have reduced it to in the church. We've reduced it to a fashion. No, it's not a fashion. Born again is removing the nature of the devil. Jeremiah 13:23 says, can the African or can the Ethiopian change his spots, change his color, or can the leopard change his spots? This is so it's anyone that is accustomed to never change from doing evil except that nature is removed. So the nature that makes you sick all the time has to be removed. The nature that makes you angry all the time has to be removed. The nature that makes you bitter against everybody has to be removed. It's a nature thing. But then we are moving further this evening that even though the nature has changed, you can still be mean. And this actually is where Christians now are frustrated. I am born again. I have prayed. I have fasted. As my pastor always instructs us to do. I pay my tithe regularly. I'm an usher. I'm in choir. In fact, I've been doing this thing now for 35 years. But even now, I'm still depending on drugs for my health. I am still falling from one sickness to another sickness as if I could just die anytime. But he said that his perfect will for me is to live in health. Health has been purchased for me as a child of God. Healing is for children. Health is for the matured. We have passed healing. We are now actually in the state of health. The more you know of God's word, the more you know that there is a difference between health and healing. But there are even believers who haven't even reached the place of divine healing. Okay, now, I always have mood swings, always sad. As a matter of fact, almost on the verge of depression. A believer, one that is born again with the Spirit of Christ. Let me tell you this. The Spirit of Christ is the spirit of a believer. There is no difference between it. Your spirit is as pure as the Spirit of Christ. Your spirit cannot even get better, even in eternity. When you are born again, it is God's Spirit that is called born again. Receiving God's Spirit, receiving God's life, receiving God's nature of righteousness. And there is no second-class righteousness. There is no second-rated righteousness. Righteousness is righteousness. Righteousness is not holiness. Righteousness is not living a good life or a life without sin. That's not righteousness. Righteousness is not good conduct. Righteousness is not conduct. That is holiness. There's a difference between righteousness and holiness. And not until you receive the nature of righteousness, you cannot produce holiness. Because holiness is the outward expression of your righteousness nature. Right? Righteousness can't rise, it can't grow higher, it can't grow lower. The righteousness of every child of God today, it doesn't matter whether it's a pastor, whether it's a general overseer, whether it's a founder, whether it's a least member of the church, it doesn't matter. It's the same righteousness, and it is the righteousness of Christ. But then, there is a gateway to that life of the supernatural. Or what I would call there's an access. I wrote something, there's an entrance or access or gateway into the life of the supernatural. I want to look at that, and it is your soul. Now, it is through your soul you enter into that life. And it is through your soul you come out from that life. Now, let me explain what I mean. The supernatural is a life, it's a realm. The spiritual is a realm. And in that realm, everything you need in life has been deposited there. For a believer, your life is not outside you. You can't live on people. Your life is inside you, and you must learn how to live from within out. If you live from out in, you'll be frustrated. You are never designed to depend on external circumstances for your life or the environment. You are supposed to look inward and live from inward out. Now, inside you, everything you need in life has been deposited there. Your healing is in you, your children is in you, everything, your fertility, your fecundity, everything is in you. Your husband, your wife is in you. Everything you ever need, your cars, all the cars you will ride on earth is in you. Your estate is in you, your houses is in you. Every relationship you will encounter is in you. All the divine helpers that God will bring along your path, they are in you. They are not outside you. We are not to look for them. They are inside you. You have to look inside and bring them out. So that's the life of the supernatural. Right. But you will have to now learn how to move into that realm and bring out what you need. So constantly you move in, you move out, you move in, you move out. And the entrance or the gateway or the window into the supernatural is your soul. Is your soul. Christians don't need any breakthrough. They only need a change in thinking. They need a brand new soul, because when you get born again, your soul is not affected by your salvation. It's not. You still have the old soul, but you have a brand new spirit. You have to do something about that soul if you enjoy the new life that you have received. That's the reason why many are not enjoying the true life that they have received, because they haven't done something about their soul. They live their soul like it is. They don't want to take responsibility. If a Christian will not take responsibility for his life, he will just live a frustrated life every day. True. Don't make God responsible for everything in your life. Rise up to it. And one of the ways you rise up to it is in your soul. It's in the soul. Hallelujah. At the new birth, salvation has not affected your soul yet. Comprehensively. When he fell, there was nothing in man that was good when man fell. He fell completely and comprehensively. He fell in his thinking. He fell in his imagination. He fell in his brain. Everything about him was distorted. Everything was upside down. Man fell into darkness. Man fell into death. Man fell under the lordship of the devil, who has no good thing in him. Devil became the stepfather of man in the garden. So he fell comprehensively. In fact, in Genesis 6:5, I'll read from here. You may not open, but you may take it down, but please pay attention, because it's so great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. That's the state of man. His imagination became corrupted. And you remember what happened in Genesis chapter 11, when all the people of the earth gathered together and said, let us build a tower that will reach heaven from the earth. And God said, if they have imagined to do it, then they will do it. There is no limit to what the imagination of man can create. But man now began to use that imagination against himself. In fact, the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 7:29, he says there's an error I've seen under the sun, that man was created very perfectly and upright. He said, but by his own inventions, he has created all sorts of evil for himself. Depending on how you were raised, please pay attention, especially you adult growing, pay attention very well. Depending on how you were raised means you were brought up. Depending on who raised you, depending on where you were raised. Somebody raised in England is different from somebody raised in Nigeria, right? Depending on the path you pass through in your journey, the soul of a man is a chaotic state. Is a chaotic state of several things, and I will mention few to you. Number one, unnecessary fear. Fear that has no foundation. Fear that has no object. You know, even in the church, many are still very phobic. You know, afraid of a snake, afraid of a lizard, afraid of a cockroach, afraid of rat, afraid of being alone, afraid of being in the group, afraid of being in the bathroom, afraid of not being in the bathroom. All sorts of phobias that people are passing through. Should that be so in the church? No, but people do. Phobias, fears, fear of man, fear of death, fear of dying, fear of sickness. And prosperity is not the amount of money you have. It's the state of the freedom of your mind. Right? Fears, all sorts of fears, superstitions. In Africa is an expert. Africans, they are experts in superstitious beliefs. You know, when it's raining, you stand on the door, then the thunder can strike strike you dead. You know, all those superstitious beliefs, all the cliches that we rose up with, all the so-called wise sayings. I remember when I was young, in primary school, so many rhymes that they would sing to us, and so many riddles that they would bring to classes then. I remember one now, just now, so many, but I just remember one now. I will say it in Yoruba, I will say it in English. He said, he said, if I'm not around, then there's no discussion. He said, money, all sorts of, that's what is reducing people, making people poor. Traditions. There are still believers that are still very traditional. They have not actually brought themselves out from the old life. The old life is still in their soul. Worldly culture, malice, offenses. We were raised not to forgive one another if you offend you. Our parents taught us very well. Young children playing together. The parents are fighting, and this one says, if I see you in that house again, don't go there again. Must not go there. Then they be carried into our workplace when we grow up. All those things are in the soul. Lies, duality, a dual life, hypocrisy, and the relics and the legacy of the curse. Now listen, when we were born by a man and a woman together, everything running in that lineage passed to us. Everything in that lineage. All the generational sicknesses, all the generational issues in that lineage, in that bloodline, passed. You inherited it. And somehow they will now begin to show up in your own life too. Why? Because you have received them and they are restored in your soul. At the new birth, salvation hasn't affected that place. And if you don't allow salvation to come into that place, you will still live out the life of your ancestors, even though you are a believer. That is the truth. This is the reason why many churches now have deliverance ministry. And they now ask people to come for deliverances. But the deliverances are not well taught to them. So by the time they go, they somebody, for instance, who is always fighting the wife. Always fighting his wife. Every day fighting his wife. They say, come to deliverance. For deliverance. Deliverance from what? Deliverance from poverty. But his problem is not poverty. His problem is not that he's not making money. His problem is that his soul is not renewed to walk in love with the wife. Right. So they said they deliver him from the spirit of poverty. Then he falls down 7 times. Another roll on the ground, another. And at the end of the day, the deliverance minister will even say, where's your wife, sir? Then, immediately a pastor begins to say something like that. He wants to lie. Where's your wife? Is your wife? Yahweh no share. Yahweh. It's your wife. But he's the one that is doing himself. He's the one that is against himself. Believe me, most of the prayer points people pray, if God answers, there will be nobody remaining on earth. Maybe all of us would have died. Because when you ask God, kill my enemy, and you are the 99.5% your own enemy. Man is his own enemy. Your renewed mind is your enemy. Right. And you don't need deliverance from that. You only need teaching for that. That's why I'm so assured that no believer needs deliverance from anything. He needs deliverance from himself, from his laziness, from his, uncaring attitude towards the word of God, from his nonchalance to spiritual things. You don't need deliverance from the devil. The devil is defeated. You don't need to fight the devil. Why will anybody even think twice that I want to fight the devil? You can't fight the devil. The person that will fight him fought him and defeated him and gave you victory over him. Just maintain the victory, that's all. Maintain the victory. Glory. There is a question in Jeremiah 4:14. Jeremiah 4:14, the Bible says, God says, Jerusalem, wash the evil from your heart. Wash it out from your heart. so that you may be saved. How long will you go on thinking sinful thoughts? How long will you go on thinking sinful thoughts? So man needs to do something about his soul. I wrote something here when I was meditating on these messages. I want you to listen to it. A brand new spirit with the old soul is crisis going somewhere to happen. A brand new spirit. We are brand new spirits. When you are born again, the Bible says, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things have passed away, behold, all things have become new. But it's just talking about your spirit. It's not talking about your soul. The soul of a man at the new birth has not been affected. A man is a spirit, he has a soul, and he has a body. Right. So if you have if you're a brand new creature and you retain your old soul, do you know that in the church today there are members that fight ushers? You know, you go to some programs and the pastor will say, announce that don't retain seats for anybody, and the man that they are not even sure will come and retain seats for them. All those things, they are on renewed mind. They carry the old life into the new. And you know what? They are little foxes. Sons of Solomon 2:15. They are little foxes. Disobedience here and there, rebellion here and there. They are little foxes. They block the flow of the supernatural in your life. So it's not about the pastor. You know, in the church, I saw a survey. If it's an American survey, that an average believer, in America now, will change church maybe twice a year or something like that. So members now, you can hardly really see members who will not have gone to about 10 churches. There are some of them, yes, there are some of you that have stayed, for a long time in your churches. Wonderful. But especially in the Pentecostal churches. You know why? Because at times, if pastors say anything on the pulpit, they assume pastor is preaching about me, next Sunday they are not coming. Now the question is, why are you going to church before? Is it because of the pastor? It's so erroneous for somebody to think that I will leave his church and